Indie animation over the last few years has taken over YouTube by storm. Shows like helluvaboss, murderdrones, lackadaisy, and most recently, The Amazing Digital Circus. Today, I want to talk about the reason behind the popularity of these shows and what has caused them to be so successful compared to many of their cable TV and streaming counterparts. We've all seen the views that indie shows are achieving. helluvaboss has maintained an audience of over 15 million people since the show debuted. The Amazing Digital Circus pilot episode has over 230 million views in just a few months. Compare that to the viewership of cable animation in those on streaming services. How many times over the last year have you heard of Netflix canceling an animated series due to low viewership? Yet, despite this, indie animation on YouTube has thrived. helluvaboss has confirmed 4 seasons. Hazbin Hotel, while is now debuting on Amazon Prime, has guaranteed at least 2 seasons to start thanks to the pilot, which originated from YouTube. The Amazing Digital Circus has confirmed a full season is in development, which, basing off just the pilot viewership, I would assume the show's not getting cancelled anytime soon. In reality, there isn't much difference between an indie animated show and a network show. So what is causing the massive difference in interest? To start it all off, the biggest difference is that indie animation is usually free. What does cable and streaming have in common? Both are going to cost you money. Netflix is almost $15 a month if you want it for no ads. Most cable companies start at a minimum of $25 a month, and usually it's more than that. Now how does that differentiate from YouTube? YouTube is free. Every single episode of a YouTube series is free. Never will you have to pay for any sort of subscription or any sort of fee to watch an episode of helluvaboss or lackadaisy or The Amazing Digital Circus. All of it is free. This is the main reason why these shows are blowing up. Millions upon millions of people of all ages can easily open the YouTube app or open the browser and look up these shows. Now, looking at shows like Hazbin Hotel, which had its pilot first premiere on YouTube. The show now lives over on Amazon Prime and just debuted the day after I'm recording this, but it's going to succeed due to the popularity it received from the YouTube pilot. Think of it, if the show never received the pilot and just directly premiered straight to Amazon, I don't think the show would do anywhere close to the numbers it's actually going to and is doing right now. That's just how the YouTube algorithm works. These shows being on YouTube also allow them to get away with stuff that would never fly on cable or streaming services. helluvaboss is a great example of an adult animated show. You've got graphic scenes, you've got swear words every 5 seconds.
Let's fuck these fuckers up!
And you've got all the gay sex you could ever imagine. To put it bluntly, it's not a show that a lot of streaming services or cable networks would want on their platform. Luckily, YouTube gives that freedom to post it, with maybe a couple restrictions for monetization purposes. I want to continue about the viewer aspect on these shows. A question I have seen all over the internet is how these indie shows are funded. YouTube monetization is nice and all, but surely it's not enough to fully fund every episode. And that statement would be correct. Let's take the average views of a helluvaboss episode. Every season 2 episode except one has reached 15 million views. Assuming every video is receiving normal monetization, it doesn't have any restrictions, which I'm kinda doubtful of, you can expect each video to earn around anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000, give or take. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it costs more than that to make each episode of helluvaboss. When it comes to these indie shows, much of the income to create the show comes directly from you, the viewer. Whether it's watching an ad, or buying $100 worth of merchandise, or even just donating a few dollars through a comment or through a Patreon page. all of this viewer-supported income goes directly to producing the show. Now, think of a Netflix animated series. You're paying Netflix directly to watch the episode already. You aren't really going to donate extra money to the creator, as in reality, you don't know who the creator is half the time. You as the viewer have full power when it comes to indie animated shows and animation. Shows that aren't perceived well by the viewers aren't going to be funded, and they're just going to collapse. The pilot's going to be there, that'll be it. But shows that pass the test, shows like Helluvaboss and The Amazing Digital Circus, that received huge support from the fan base, are also going to receive massive funding from that fan base. Because they're going to want to see more, and that'll help the show survive. This is the basis of indie animation that can't be achieved by cable or on streaming. When it comes to indie animation on YouTube, your direct input is going to decide the fate of the show. I want you to compare the shows that indie creators are producing compared to shows that networks are. Nickelodeon is coming out with a new show called Rock, Paper, Scissors, which, you guessed it, contains the three best friends of a rock, piece of paper, and some scissors taking on goofy challenges. Sounds fun, right? Now, compare that to The Amazing Digital Circus, a girl who is stuck in some virtual reality land that contains no exit. She is stuck here with others and has to take on insane games and challenges from the ringmaster to avoid extracting. Now, obviously, Nick is geared more towards children, so it's not going to be anywhere as dark. But I also think that the main issue with mainstream cartoons is that they are under so many restrictions from the boss that they can't reach anywhere close to the potential that they could have. Whereas indie shows can mostly do exactly what they want. They can have those dark moments that make you feel weary. But they can also have those super romantic scenes that just make you want to turn away. Imagine this. A SpongeBob makeout scene with Sandy. That would never fly over at Nick. However, Blitz, from Helluvaboss, can have sex with as many different characters as he pleases. Who's gonna tell the creator, Vivzy Pop, otherwise? Because she's the boss of herself. She doesn't have someone telling her what she can do. The point is, these indie shows can get away with much, much more than shows on these streaming services or cable network in general. Characters aren't limited on what they can say, what they can do, where they can go. The creators have full freedom over their show, which gives us, the viewers, the best show possible. I think it's pretty obvious why indie animation is rising to the top while cable and streaming take a backseat. Whether it's being able to watch just a quality show for free, being able to directly fund the show that you love, or the shows just being better quality. The times are changing and it's clear that the world wants more indie animation. Now, this is just a theory, but I believe in the next coming years, cable services and streaming services are going to be filled with indie animation, just because of how popular it is and how much it's succeeding. While The Amazing Digital Circus is the show of the hour right now, I expect there to be so many more indie shows and animations announced in 2024 and 2025. And I expect the trend of indie animation to move over to streaming services into cable television. You already see Hazbin Hotel going over to Amazon Prime. I expect there to be so many more shows heading to these streaming services just because of how popular they're becoming. So many more creators are seeing the success of these shows, and in their mind, it's encouraging them to make their own shows with their own ideas. And I think over these next few years, we're going to see an even bigger boom of indie animation than we're seeing now. But we as the viewers need to help this happen, because without our support, so many indie shows will never get the funding needed to make the show a reality. If you see a small indie show that just blows your mind away. Send them over a few dollars or donate to their Patreon. Anyways, I think indie animation, especially in these next 2 years, is just gonna take off. And you know what, it might not be today, and it might not be this year, but sometime in the near future, indie animation is going to take over cable, and it's going to take over streaming services. Indie animation is already large, and has grown large, and it's only growing larger by the day.